Authorities say she was killed and dismembered while on a first date with 33-year-old Maxwell Anderson.
Do you know how Sade met Maxwell Anderson?
No, I don't. I don't know for sure. He's definitely not my daughter's type. I don't know. I got so many questions I can't answer.
Hi guys, welcome back to KW Lawholic. It's Kayla. If you're new here, thank you for joining. If you're not, thank you for always returning, and let's jump straight into the case. Today's case is about Sade Carlina Robertson, who was born on May 10, 2004 to Carlos Robertson and Sheena Scarborough. Sade was born in Vicksburg, Mississippi. When she was almost 2 years old, her entire family moved to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Sade's parents weren't together anymore, but they were very good at their co-parenting relationship, and Sade was raised and grew up very happy. Sade attended Ida S. Baker High School in Florida, which was where her dad was originally from. She also went to Riverside High School in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. At the time of her death, Sade had currently been attending the Milwaukee Area Technical College. She was about to graduate with a degree in criminal justice on May 10th, which would also have been her 20th birthday. Sade was known to be a loving daughter, a cherished sister, and a dear friend. Overall, everyone said that Sade was a bright and precious person. On Monday, April 1st, 2024, Sade was at her apartment building, and she had told an employee who worked there that she was super excited because she had a first date that night. At around 4:15 p.m. that day, Sade was exchanging text messages to a phone number to a man named Maxwell Anderson. The two of them had made plans and arranged to meet at the Twisted Fisherman's Restaurant on 1200 W Canal Street for dinner and drinks. In the messages, Maxwell had mentioned to Sade that he needed to pick up a W-2 form from that restaurant because he previously used to work there. At around 5:20 p.m., Sade and Maxwell had met up at the said restaurant, and they had food and drinks at the bar. Eventually, at around 6:30 p.m., the two of them decided to leave, and they left in Sade's car. When they left, they were headed towards Duke's on Water on 158 E. Janusz Avenue. So after they made it to that bar and were there for a while, Sade eventually sent one of her friends a snap on Snapchat, and her and Maxwell left the bar at around 9:06 p.m. By 9:24 p.m., Sade's phone was located in the area around Maxwell's residence and home, which was on the 3100 block of South 39th Street. There was surveillance footage that was caught seeing two figures walking into the house at nighttime. So now it is around 12:48 a.m., so it traveled over to the next day, and it is now April 2nd. Sade's phone was tracked and seen leaving Maxwell's house and residence and traveling in the downtown Milwaukee area and also in the area around Sade's apartment before continuing on north. And it eventually arrived to the Waterman Park at 2:45 a.m. At 2:53 a.m., on surveillance footage caught from a high school in Cudahy, there was a car seen on the footage driving towards the pump house. A pump house is basically an area that uses equipment and technology for different ways to operate for big, large equipment. Most times it's used for water supplies and sewage. At 4:31 a.m., Sade's phone finally loses battery. So now Sade is no longer being tracked. After about 3 hours, it's currently morning. It's 7:29 a.m. and surveillance footage captured a man walking away from a burning car. A witness said that they seen a male exit the vehicle, and while he was leaving the vehicle, throw in a lighter. The witness described that the man had on a gray hoodie and also was carrying on his back a tan backpack. Eventually, the Milwaukee Fire Department arrived on scene, and when they were there, they found the vehicle, and it turned out to be a 2020 Honda Civic that was registered and belonged to Sade. They also had found the clothes that Sade was wearing the previous day inside of the trunk with remnants of a cell phone. After that, the Milwaukee County Transit bus showed footage of Maxwell on the bus at around 8:30 a.m. By 8:45, he was getting off the bus at a bus stop near his home. And on that footage, it was the same outfit that the witness described who saw the fire. He was in a gray hoodie and had a tan backpack on his back. As the day progressed, it's currently the evening. It's 5:29 p.m. and a report is coming in from a caller. In that report, someone just reported that they found a human leg inside of the Waterman Park, and they believe it belongs to a black female. The leg was found about 2/3 and about 100 feet away from the cliff at the beach level and near the pump house. And by the end of the night at around 9 p.m., Sade's friend finally called in and reported her missing to the Milwaukee police after she didn't turn up to work or answer any of her phone calls. So now, let's jump straight into the investigation. Because she's now been filed as a missing person report, the next day on April 3rd, the police and the sheriff's office have started their search for Sade, as well as trying to investigate whose human leg this is and how did it come about.
Milwaukee County 911 dispatch received a call from Cudahy Police Department regarding a severed leg at Warnemont Park. The leg appeared to be that of an African-American female.
On April 3rd, they received in calls that Cudahy city workers have reported that someone had drove through the gate that closed off the pump house. They said it looked like it had been rammed. And when police arrived there, they found that it was a broken piece of a car at the scene. And the broken piece belonged to a Honda Civic specifically. Investigators also decided to go to the bar and question the bartender who Maxwell was speaking to at the time. They found that Maxwell had arrived to the bar before Sade. And when he was there, he did tell the bartender that he was there because he was on a first date. The police also confirmed that that was his previous place of employment and that he really did work there. Next, the Milwaukee police decided to visit Sade's apartment. They wanted to see any type of camera footage or talk to any employees. And that's how they found out that she did tell an employee she had a first date and were able to speak with her friend to let them know that, yeah, Sade went on a date, and she even sent me a Snapchat of her at Duke's.
It was at Pizza Shuttle where Ivelisse Martinez worked alongside Sade for 3 years and says the 19-year-old was full of joy and love for her friends.
She's just a generous person in general. Like, I don't remember one day that she was, angry or upset.
So after more investigation, the day does end and pass, and it's currently April 4th. At around 1:16 p.m., law enforcement officers end up pulling over Maxwell and picked him up. When they did, they arrested him only a few blocks away from his home. After seizing his car from the stop, which was a traffic violation, they end up finding the same hoodie that was reported being at the scene of the car that was on fire. And later that day, investigators and law enforcement decided to get a search warrant for Maxwell's home. When officers did a search of his home, they found that it was blood in one of the bedrooms on the bedding, as well as blood on the walls leading to the basement. And the basement itself turned out to be a sex dungeon. They also discovered in the basement several canisters of gasoline. 2 days had passed and it's currently April 6th and more human remains were found. Milwaukee police had canvassed the areas around where the torched car was found and areas near the park. And what they found was a human foot, a torso, and an arm, as well as other pieces of human flesh. And not more than a week later, preliminary DNA testing was done on the body parts, and the leg came back as belonging to her. Those body parts that they were finding placed all over the city were pieces of Sade's body. So as law enforcement officers are still canvassing and searching for the rest of her body, they are filing charges against him. And on April 12, 2024, the police officers charged 33-year-old Maxwell Anderson with the following charges. The first was first-degree intentional homicide, which comes with a life sentence if convicted, and mutilating/dismembering a corpse, as well as arson. And now, I know you all are wondering, what is the motive for this murder? And the motive is still unclear. They do not know why he killed her. Maxwell Anderson did plead not guilty, and he asked for his case to be taken to trial. Despite that, Maxwell has remained in jail since April 4th after he failed to pay for his $5 million bond, meaning he's not getting released. He can't bail out, he can't post bond. He's going to be sitting in jail throughout his entire trial unless they lower his bond. So as the months have passed, they did have his trial set for December 3rd, but it ended up getting delayed. The trial has been getting delayed for the last couple of months, and that was the last one they recently did. Once they delayed it on the 3rd, his trial is not set to start until May 27th, 2025. Because of that, Sade's family, they're hating it. They want their justice, and they aren't understanding why it keeps getting delayed. The courts are saying, though, through attorneys and the district, that they have more and more evidence to process and get through to make sure that they can bring justice forward. Because of that caused Sade's family to end up filing a wrongful death suit against Maxwell Anderson. In the suit, they are suing him for emotional distress and the proceeds that he got from selling his home which ended up being $195,000. And they also want him banned from being able to get any notoriety or any fame or profits off of the case of their daughter. So for me, I'm personally just trying to understand why. What was the reason to murder her, cut up her body, and place it all over the city? I can't wrap my head around if there's a deeper meaning or something going on with this case, especially the timeline of when her phone was tracked and everything. How did you have time to plan out a murder, cut her body up, and put it in a multitude of different locations? It makes me wonder, was this his plan all along, or did something go wrong that night after they left the bars? Especially even from the fact that when he got to the bar, he even told a bartender, like, hey, I'm here for a first date, I'm excited for it, I'm waiting for her to get here. If you were gonna kill her originally, that couldn't have been a smart move at all. So I'm very questionable about this case, and I truly want to know everything. Was this just him by himself? Were there more than one person involved? I really want to know. One thing I want to share from her family is this last closing statement. Sade's family said this in regards to Maxwell, that he has stolen away their child's body, future, achievements, enjoyment of life, beauty, while simultaneously destroying her mother, father, sisters, and their right to rejoice in her graduation and future achievements, and even properly grieve her death and bury her body. That right there is so heartfelt, because truly, what is this case? What is this senseless murder? Also, I want to throw in the fact that she was 19, he was 33. Why are you even talking to her? But then to come to find out that you are killing her, and not only did you kill her, but you mutilated her body and set her car on fire for no apparent reason. It's a lot of things that aren't making sense. So I do want to send my condolences to her parents and her family and her sisters. Please feel free to drop your thoughts and comments down below. Tell me how you feel about this case. What do you think happened? Do you think there's any more foul play involved from someone else? What do you think the motive could have been to do this? Or is he just a crazy lunatic? Share the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time on KW Lawholic.